Hello, I'm Elizabeth Garcia. Today I'm going to share with you 10 things I stopped doing that completely transformed my life. My life took an incredible leap forward, and prosperity came in ways I never could have imagined. And there's a very important detail in all of this. I didn't start doing more things. In fact, prosperity began to show up when I stopped engaging in habits that were quietly sabotaging me and holding my life back without me even realizing it. Many times we believe that we need to work harder, take more courses, push ourselves more, and chase opportunities even more aggressively. But the truth is that in many cases, it's not a lack of effort that's blocking our lives. What really blocks us are invisible patterns, beliefs that were formed in our minds over the years and that keep us stuck in the same place. Maybe you're going through something like that right now. Maybe you work hard, stay dedicated, try to do everything right, and still feel like your life isn't moving forward. It feels like things are always harder for you. You look around and can't understand why. So pay close attention to this video, because some of the answers you've been searching for might be right here. The first thing I stopped doing was blaming things outside of myself for everything that went wrong in my life. For a long time, I believed it was the fault of where I was born, my family who also struggled financially, the lack of opportunities, and even the government. At certain moments, I even blamed God. I truly believed that some people were chosen to prosper while others were destined to live in hardship, as if life were some kind of lottery where a few people are born lucky and others are born without any chance at all. I thought my destiny had already been written and that I was condemned to live with very little forever. But one day I realized something that completely changed my view of life. My reality was the result of the mental programming inside my mind. Everything I had learned, everything I had heard about money, success, and prosperity, and everything I believed about myself was shaping the reality I was living. When I understood that, I discovered a concept that transformed my way of thinking: personal responsibility. Personal responsibility is not the same as blame. Blame paralyzes you. Blame makes you feel small and powerless. Personal responsibility is different. It helps you realize that you are responsible for your life, and because of that, you also have the power to transform it. When I stopped blaming the world and started looking inward, that was the moment my life truly began to change. The second thing I stopped doing was seeing God as someone distant from me. For many years, I imagined God as a figure in heaven watching everything I did, almost waiting for me to make a mistake so I could be punished. I grew up with that idea of fear, as if God were someone who punished people. But over time, I began to understand something very different. God is not distant. God is the intelligence that created everything that exists in the universe. He is present in all creation, in nature, in life, in the movement of the universe, and in everything that exists. And if He is present in everything, then He is also present in me and in you. We are expressions of that creation. We are part of it. When I understood that, something changed deeply inside me, because I realized I didn't have to live in fear. God does not punish or condemn. God guides, inspires, and constantly offers new opportunities for us to learn, evolve, and grow. But there is a simple principle that works throughout the entire universe. We reap what we sow. If we plant thoughts of fear, we harvest more fear. If we plant thoughts of scarcity, we harvest scarcity. But if we begin planting thoughts of abundance, gratitude, and prosperity, little by little, we begin to harvest those fruits in our lives. The third thing I stopped doing was waiting for other people to value me. I discovered that life works like a mirror. It reflects exactly how we treat ourselves. If you don't value yourself, the world won't value you either. And I had to look at my own childhood to understand this. In my home growing up, there was a very common habit. Whenever guests came over, everything changed. The best tablecloth came out, the nicest cups were placed on the table, the best food was prepared, and it felt like the the whole house transformed to receive those visitors. But when the guests left, everything went back to normal. For us, there were the simple glasses, sometimes even reused tomato paste jars used as coffee cups, old bath towels, and things that were already worn out. It was as if we ourselves didn't matter that much. Without realizing it, I grew up believing I didn't deserve the best. Until one day, I recognized that pattern and decided to change it. I started using the best cup, the best towel, the best dishes. I stopped saving things for a special occasion because I realized that life itself is the special occasion. The important day is today. Today is the only day that truly exists. And when you begin to treat yourself with value, the world begins to reflect that value back to you. The fourth thing I stopped doing was going to bed thinking about problems. Very few people realize this, but the minutes before falling asleep are extremely powerful for the mind. At that moment, the conscious mind begins to slow down and the subconscious mind becomes much more open to receiving information. That means the thoughts you have right before sleep are recorded very strongly in your mind. For a long time, I would lie in bed thinking about the difficulties of the day, the worries about tomorrow, and everything that was going wrong in my life. Without realizing it, I was reinforcing exactly what I didn't want to experience. When I discovered this, I started changing that habit. I began falling asleep thinking about the dreams I wanted to achieve and the life I wanted to live. If I had a disagreement with someone, I imagined us at peace, talking, and smiling again. I imagined things working out and created happy endings for the situations in my life. Gradually, I noticed that this simple habit began to change the way I woke up the next morning and how I faced the challenges of life. The fifth thing I stopped doing was constantly consuming negative news. Nowadays, if you turn on the television or scroll through certain social media platforms, you'll find an avalanche of bad news, crime, tragedies, conflicts, arguments, and fear. When you consume that kind of content all the time, your mind begins to believe that the world is only that. But the truth is that the world is also full of beautiful things happening every single day. There are people helping other people, stories of resilience, acts of generosity, and moments of beauty that rarely make the headlines. So I decided to protect my mind. In my home and in my daily routine, there is no space for content that constantly feeds fear, anger, and negativity. That doesn't mean ignoring reality. It simply means consciously choosing what I allow into my mind. The sixth thing I stopped doing was constantly talking about problems. The more you talk about a problem, the more energy you give it. I started to notice that many times I was reinforcing what I didn't want to live through just by the words I used. So I began changing the way I spoke. Instead of saying I hated not having money, I started saying I loved everything money could bring into my life. Instead of saying I hated noise, I started affirming that I loved silence. Instead of complaining about fake people, I began affirming that I appreciated genuine people. It may sound like a small change, but words have power. They direct our minds and influence the way we perceive the world. The seventh thing I stopped doing was eating whatever was convenient just to satisfy my hunger. For a long time, I didn't pay much attention to my diet. I ate whatever was fastest and easiest without thinking much about the quality of what I was putting into my body, until I developed a serious infection caused by superbugs that almost took my life. That experience was a major wake-up call for me. I realized that health is not guaranteed and that it needs to be cared for every single day. From that moment on, I began choosing more natural foods that are fresh and less processed. I started paying closer attention to what I put on my plate and how I took care of my body, because without health, it becomes very difficult to pursue any dream we might have. The eighth thing I stopped doing was speaking negatively about wealthy people. people. I grew up hearing phrases like rich people are dishonest, rich people only care about money, or the rich only succeed by exploiting others. Without realizing it, I repeated those ideas myself. But one day I stopped and thought about it. If I believed that every wealthy person was bad, how could I ever desire prosperity? It would be like wanting something I was condemning at the same time. So I began changing that mindset. I started understanding that there are good and bad wealthy people, just as there are good and bad poor people. Money does not define someone's character. It simply amplifies who they already are. When I changed that perspective, something also began to change in my relationship with prosperity. The ninth thing I stopped doing was surrounding myself with people who only had hidden agendas. When I started gaining more visibility and seeing better results in my life, many people began approaching me. At first, I thought it was friendship, but over time, I realized that some people were there only to benefit from me. That's when I understood the importance of setting boundaries and choosing more carefully the people I allow into my life. When I stepped away from people who only wanted to take, I created space for people who also know how to give. Generous, genuine people who truly add something meaningful to our journey. And the 10th thing I stopped doing was postponing the practice that completely transformed my life. Ho'oponopono. Every single day, I repeat these 4 phrases 108 times. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. This practice helps clear memories, beliefs, and patterns stored in the subconscious mind that are often responsible for blocks in our lives. Over time, I realized that this practice brought me more peace, more clarity, and a lighter way of dealing with life situations. Prosperity doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's something that is built day by day. I'm still learning, still growing, and still expanding, because just as the universe is always expanding, we are too. Prosperity is something we build every day through the small choices we make, the thoughts we cultivate, and the attitudes we decide to change. Now I want to hear from you. Out of these 10 things I shared, which one will you start letting go of today? Write it down in the comments because I truly love reading your experiences. Sending you a big hug. I love you very much, and I'll see you soon.